first, we played Video Game Champion. Now, I picked this up at Gen Con, I believe, last year from Arcane Wonders booth. This was so high on my anticipation scale. We played it a few times now. This is not the first time I played it. But this was super, super anticipated on my end. I lived through the era. This should be nostalgia to the max for someone like me. Growing up with video games and during that, for me, I was a little bit earlier. This kind of takes place like you're a kid in the 90s. I was more a kid in the 80s, late 80s. So a little bit different style of games maybe than what I was used to. But the overall theme in this was just so captivating for me. Really excited about it. The game has turned out to be more fiddy, which is a word. It's a trigger word for me. It's a bit more fiddy than I like, and that is a disappointment. We still play the game. I will still keep this game, at least for now, in my collection. I still like it. I like playing it. But yeah, the way it works, it's an unusual game model. You're taking a piece, and then what you take determines which action you can do. One of two actions. That's cool. Then it goes into somewhat of a worker placement where you have a meeple and you put that in like the rental store on a title that you want to rent. But only a couple times. That's not like it's part of the main part of the game, but it's kind of not, because the real turn is about taking one of these button tiles to determine which action you're going to do, which may have nothing to do with the rental store. Maybe about doing chores to get money and stuff like that. So then it turns into a little bit of worker placement. There's a little bit of set collection. It's kind of a little all over the place in that regard. And that isn't necessarily a bad thing, because it is unusual. It's an unusual game style. And that's a good thing. It's fresh, it's different in that regard, but it is big, it is sprawling on the table. That's for sure. It takes up a lot of space kind of horizontally. And there's just a lot of different systems. I almost wish they took two of the layers just out, right? There's the buttons, the actions that they trigger. That's one whole system, or two systems in a way. Then there's the rental store, which is the worker placement part. Then there's a magazine stand where you can buy magazines that help you play games. That makes sense thematically, certainly. Then there's the store, different from the rental store, with other games that you can buy. That's another layer. Then there's the global achievements at the end of the game. Then there's a row of what's called thrill and something. Which is another set of buttons. They're the same buttons, but a different way that you get them. And then there's crystals that are strewn across the board on some of these cards, but not others. And then every round you have to clear a bunch and add more, and then put crystals on top of those. It's a lot of layers. And I just feel like it may be a couple layers too many. It creates a little bit more of a cumbersome feel to playing the game as opposed to just a breeze to play. Now, again, once I'm in it, I'm loving it. I'm loving what I'm doing in the game and the tying in with the theme. I got to get some brownie points, so I'm going to go visit Grandma and clear an IOU. And there's so much good here, but the game definitely took a turn that I think is unfortunate. I don't even know if it's fixable with an expansion. On one hand, I'm holding out hope that they will release an expansion, not to make it worse, not to make it even more complicated. I don't want more systems in the game. I want a way to clean it up a little bit, tighten it a little bit. Like, did the rental store and the real store really have to be different? Or, because they're the same cards, they just, like, you have to split some over here and some over there, and then the rules are different. Could it have just been a big store? And some of the titles have been rented, and if they have been rented, then they are rental titles at that point. And if something hasn't been rented, then it's available to buy. I actually feel like there's a house rule in there that makes that system much easier, and you just put them all together. Maybe you have to reveal a couple extra per round than the number that they had you revealing each round. I don't know. Oh, and then there's starter titles that everyone gets to start with that are a different color back and everything. Anyway, I really, really wanted this to become one of my top favorite games, and it didn't quite get there. So from a rating perspective, this is a 7 for me, which means it's just on the edge of it will stay in my collection. I could definitely see this dropping, and I would shed a tear that the notion of a video game, kid playing video games, that a notion of that themed game might leave my collection. That would be a sad day. So I'm gonna hold out hope. Keep it for now. We'll play it a couple more times. We'll see how we feel. One of the group yesterday did not love the game, whereas the other two of us do like it. I also consider that, so I'm gonna start to rate games not just in the 10-point scale, but also on a Fiddly-factor. Maybe I'll do a special video just explaining my scale for the Fiddly-factor. But as I've said, that is a trigger word for me. So I don't like games that are fiddy. That does turn me off. That does make me want to offload them. So I'm thinking, I guess I'll just talk about it now. I'm thinking of basically four gradations. From the best, which is elegant. That's the word I'm going to use. If a game is elegant, it's got like next to no fiddiness. And I'll do a deeper explanation of what do I mean by that. What kind of games are fiddy? Well, let me tell you what games are elegant. Marvel United, Dune Imperium, Clank. These are games that once you learn the core rules once, you kind of never need to go back to the rule book. It's straightforward. Everything just works. Everything makes sense. Everything's intuitive. It's elegant. It's smooth. That's what I long for. That's what I try to pull into phase shift games and any titles we work on, develop, launch, etc. By all means, not perfect. So, some of the titles from the past, there are areas now I look back on and I'm like, oh, that could have been so much more elegant. And maybe a second edition will actually do some of that I could have done or should have thought of earlier. So anyway, from a Fiddly-factor perspective, this one, Video Game Champion, you got elegant, low, medium, high fiddiness. That's, for now, I'm just going to kind of go with those gradations. This one's a medium fiddy. I don't think it's at an extreme, which is maybe why it's still going to stay. If it was extreme to the point where I have to do mental exercise to teach this game and keep it going on the table, like if it's strenuous for me cognitively to keep it going, I have no interest in it. I don't have the energy for that. So it's not quite there. All right, so that's Video Game Champion.